everybody, I'm Melissa Sorrentino, the Improv Sophisticate, and I am here to talk to you today about your improv and how it affects your life and how your life affects your improv. Today's topic is specifically more about improv, and I want to share that I was in a class back in the day, and I remember getting having a question about whether or not I was cheating. And it's funny when I look back on it now, but I was so militant about doing this right, getting this right, and for some reason I felt like some of the things that I guess other people were doing and just completely taking for granted that it was perfectly okay in improv, I was not allowing myself to do. And I wonder if there might be other people that are like this, and I wondered that a lot until one day I was teaching a class and I gave somebody a note, and I remember this kid said something about, well, wouldn't that be cheating? So I know I'm not the only one. So let's talk about cheating in improv. My specific thing that I thought was cheating at the time that I thought I might be cheating was somebody said something about when you're on the back line and you get an idea to run out and do a tag out or to start a fresh scene, wipe and start a fresh scene. Basically, when you're coming off the back line and you have your idea. And I was like, what? You get to have an idea on the back line and then come out and actually do your idea? And to me, I seriously thought that if I had anything in my head whatsoever about the scene or what I was going to do, prior to actually my arms going into some space work and my mouth, that was the moment that I was allowed to start having an idea. And I did not realize that just from the distance from, the back wall to here, it was okay if I had generated an idea in this distance, and even, God forbid, it was okay if I was on the back line and I even watched two scenes, and I might be note to self, that boy was raised by two gorillas. I could come out as his gorilla mother. That's kind of funny. I wonder if anybody's done that one yet. But, I now, of course, I would just be on the back line going, I'm totally going to be that kid's gorilla mother if nobody else beats me to it. But back then, I thought that would be cheating. Now, I am still kind of probably a little more in the camp of, I'm not real crazy about somebody driving to an improv class and while they're driving thinking, I'm going to do that bit that I did, over at this other theater. I'm going to try to squeeze that into tonight. To me, that's not improv. That's kind of bullshit. And personally, in my opinion, it's going to kind of fall flat. And very likely, people who do that are also the people who kind of keep trying to drive and steer. And you're there with a fresh scene partner. God forbid it was a 2-person scene last week when you did it elsewhere. But this week you get, you hop out on stage and there's 5 people on stage and you're like, oh crap, and you're trying to turn it into a 5-person scene. I mean, I can't even imagine the frustration level that must come for people like that. But I have heard people mention these types of things before, and I don't recommend it. I think it's best to don't have any preconceived ideas about anything until at least you hear the audience suggestion. And, other than that, you previously might know the form you're intending to do and the order of the form and structure, obviously. Maybe if it's a clean show or a blue show or, certain things like that. But I don't really think that outside of what your whole team has agreed is going to be predetermined, that it's a good idea for you to be reading a novel and be oh, I'm totally going to try to play, Emma tonight. Now, I guess I'm kind of going to go against what I even just said, because to be honest, if you go in and you're you've been reading the novel Emma and you're really into it. I don't even think that's the name of the novel. What's that one? What the heck? I'm thinking of the character's name is Emma. Whatever, classic novel. Anyway, you're reading a book, and that comes into your improv, I actually do recommend that. And these are some things I want to just kind of put out there that you can do. In my opinion, you can totally do this. I don't think anybody would think you were like cheating if you did these things. And I want to give you permission to go ahead. And, one thing is go ahead and use your day. Use your day that you had leading up to that show. It's cathartic for you. It's very easy to tap into because it's so current to you. Let's say you're studying something in a class and you're in the middle of midterm week. Absolutely, I would say pull that into your improv. If it fits, but have all that stuff like floating around in the ether of your your frontal cortex where it's accessible to you. Have that stuff. Go ahead and pull from that stuff. Pull from a book you're reading. Pull from the DMV that you went to that day, or the you played tennis that morning with a friend, or you went jogging, or you took your dog out for a walk, or you went grocery shopping and you came across a strange situation. You rode the subway. You had a date last night. Anything that's like currently going on in your life, I highly recommend that you pull your life into your improv, as long as you don't feel too shy about it. And of course, as long as it's not, violating anybody else's privacy that is within the, knowledge base of the audience. Like, I wouldn't diss your mom if you don't want it to get around to her if, like, her best friend is coming to the show. That'd be stupid. But you see what I'm saying? Pull your own life in. Pull your day in. Pull your the absolute day. Pull your drive from home to the theater. Pull it all into your improv. Absolutely, that is not cheating. Go ahead and pull stuff from an earlier show. Or, like, I was in a show sort of recently where we had, there was like a short form set prior to the long form, and when the other team went up and they did the long form, they pulled something like really stupid that I had said earlier in the short form game, and it was hilarious. The audience thought it was funny. It was a very quirky, weird, stupid moment, and of course I was just delighted and tickled that my thing ended up getting put in their long form. Anyone would enjoy that. So I think that's absolutely doable, and in fact I recommend it because it brings a cohesion to the night that I think is very slick. I also would say go ahead and use what you know. Use your job, use your base. If you're a nurse, use that. Absolutely. That's fascinating. If you're a firefighter, use that. If you're a cook, if you're a gourmet, if you had a certain amount of, illnesses in your history that you can relate to. Anything that is real specific to you, go ahead, absolutely pull that into your improv. No one is going to sit there in the audience and go, oh, well, she's totally cheating because she's actually a nurse. No, they're going to think it's great that you're pulling that stuff, and they're going to be like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. I remember we had, her name was Christina, and she was a nurse, and she pulled some of the, some interesting stuff, and it was like, wow, that really like adds a depth of knowledge and color and flavor that you otherwise wouldn't have access to if somebody wasn't actually, an RN. I also think that it's perfectly okay if you're not an expert to hop in with somebody that is an expert, and that's actually just hilarious. I did a scene one time with some people that, this girl, and she started talking to me in French. Well, I have like un petit peu de français in my history. So she was legit talking to me in French, and I was like, oh, l'école, la salle de bain, oh, la tour Eiffel, oh, merci. And like, what did I just say just now? The school, the bathroom, the Eiffel Tower, thank you. And no one in the audience knew that we didn't both speak French. And that's partly due to her being a kick-ass improviser and absolutely not giving it away. And me just like going there and being like, okay. And it was super funny. We ended up playing this scene where we were in this like, schoolyard, and we were snobby kids, and we were dissing another kid, and we were all like just little kids, but we're speaking French, and the other girl's like trying to understand us, and she was an unbelievable improviser too. These are 3 people that are just the shiz. But yeah, so absolutely, don't be off-put by the fact that someone else is bringing their knowledge base. And don't be afraid that you're going to intimidate another improviser by bringing your own knowledge base. If they're good, you know, they should just hop in there and enjoy it too. And they'll appreciate that different, you know, game to start toying around with. And then, of course, what I was mentioning about coming off the back wall. Absolutely, it's totally cool to have an idea at some point early in the show and then pull it in later in the show. Or if you're doing a night of shows and you have like an idea from earlier in the evening and you pull it into like, you know, the 3rd show set or something like that. That's super fun. And then I also want to say, if you're an improviser, here's like where I kind of want to hook into the life thing. Use the fact that you're an improviser to enhance the rest of your life. Tell people that you do improv. They think it's fascinating, and they will, you know, use it in a job interview. Bring it up. I do, and it always creates interest. And, you know, absolutely use it when you're dating. Use it when you're, you know, at family functions. It's a lot of fun for everybody, and it kind of spreads the word that improv is a cool thing, and you may end up bringing some more people in to come and see your shows, even if they're at 11 at night and they have to buy 2 drinks that cost $10 a piece. So those are my recommends. Do not worry about cheating. Go ahead and cheat. That's all I have today. I hope this is helpful. And my name is Melissa Sorrentino, and this was the Improv Sophisticate. Ta!